Former Justice Louis Brandeis dubbed the right to privacy as the right to be left alone, the most comprehensive of rights and the right most valued by civilized men. There is no explicit reference to this right anywhere in the Constitution, but scholars agree that such a right was an intention by the framers, as protected by the penumbras cast by constitutional amendments. For example, the Fourth Amendment promises that one's property cannot be searched and seized without a warrant and/or probable cause. Similar penumbras can be found in the First, Third, Ninth, and 14th Amendments. We will get more into each specific case that has shaped the right to privacy over time. The first pivotal case relating to the right of privacy is Griswold v. Connecticut. Laws regarding contraceptives were quite strict up until about the middle of the 20th century. A few states, like Connecticut, had contraceptives banned altogether and even forbade physicians from discussing birth control with clients. Griswold, the executive director of the state Planned Parenthood, began giving information to married couples about birth control. She was convicted under a Connecticut state law that criminalized such a practice. This case made its way to the U.S. Supreme Court under the specific provision of due process, and 7 of the justices voted with Griswold that the Bill of Rights, specifically Amendments 3, 4, and 9, established zones of privacy for citizens, especially when within marriages like this. The Connecticut law interfered with this practice and thus was ruled unconstitutional. This will be the start to many other cases that would expand the definition of right to privacy. Roe v. Wade established a precedent to many cases and expanded the right of privacy. A woman had an unwanted pregnancy and wanted to get an abortion. However, the Texas law and health clinics forbade her from doing so because her pregnancy wasn't in danger of the mother. The woman took the case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court decided that states cannot deny her the right to an abortion. It was a private issue of the woman, and limiting her privacy right would be unconstitutional under the Bill of Rights and Due Process Clause. They established that a woman could get an abortion until viability. The court made their decision based on the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment that required the states to abide by laws that established personal liberty. In this case, it was the woman's personal liberty to make the decision of whether or not she wanted to terminate her pregnancy. The decision of Webster v. Reproductive Health Service was very controversial in the court. In 1986, the state of Missouri placed a number of restrictions on abortions. The law restricted public employees and public facilities assistants and the performance of an abortion if it didn't present danger to the mother. It also encouraged counseling about abortions. A case was filed at the Supreme Court stating that the restrictions made by the Missouri legislation were in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment or the right of privacy. However, the court ruled that Missouri was able to enforce those restrictions because it didn't ban abortion, only limited the ways in which one could obtain an abortion. Therefore, the courts ruled that the states could set abortion laws which protected the potential life which can come before the point of viability as long as it doesn't deny abortions. The court narrowed the decision of Roe v. Wade. Planned Parenthood v. Casey upheld the constitutional right to an abortion, yet it installed that states had the right to regulate abortions as long as they did not impose an undue burden. In the writing of the plurality opinion, the justices wrote, "If the right of privacy means anything, it is the right of the individual, married or single, to be free from unwarranted governmental intrusion into matters so fundamentally affecting a person as the decision whether to bear or beget a child." The justices openly state in this excerpt that the right to privacy is not something that has been established, but is viewed as a right that is implied. This case further strengthens the right to privacy as a result of the ruling in favor of Planned Parenthood.